welcome to the Red Road East. I'm your host, Fierce Truth Seeker. Yeah, so let's see here. Let me see what we have here, who we have here. See who is in the studio. Got one person watching now. Okay, I'll wait for a few more to come in. Got two watching. Okay. Give it a couple of minutes for some more to come in before we get started. While we're waiting, I'll pull up some comments here. Yeah. So today's topic is filet gumbo. Let's say serving filet gumbo to a pan of African mumbo jumbo, part 2. Okay. Yeah. So this is a continuation of yesterday's. Well, actually, I can't even say yesterday's because that was this morning. Was midnight, so technically it was today. But this is a continuation of that discussion from earlier. Okay, and we're going to get started in a couple of minutes and just giving people a chance to come in. Okay, we got Lil Mayhem, Wild Indian TV in his house. Shoo, brother, how's it going? Yeah, Wild Indian Mayhem TV. You're definitely one of our good supporters there. And in the meantime, while we're waiting, I want to thank someone left a donation last night. I thought about something, and it didn't dawn on me until after my meditations that I know I usually, when somebody leaves a donation, I'll call the name and give thanks, but it came to me that not everybody might want their name to be called in public. So I will just say thank you. I'll just make it a general statement. Unless you make it known that it's okay, I'll just keep it general just in case, because some people don't want to make those kind of things public. So whether it's a small donation or it's just a $5 donation, but hey, it's all good. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing that is too small, or because for some people that may be all they can afford to give. And it's always appreciated whatever you can give. I don't care how small it is. If that's all you can give, I appreciate it big time. Okay, trust me. you know. And I'm not a materialistic type of person anyway. You know, money means nothing to me. Anybody who knows me knows that money doesn't, really mean anything to me. I'm not caught up into materialism. You know, money is just a is just currency for me. I just use it to do the things I need to do to bring you guys and ladies the information. Okay, so we have two people watching, and in the meantime, for those who wish to leave a donation, I will leave the link in the chat before we sign off. Okay, so you got one watching now. I don't know why people are dropping off. We're about to get started, but I'm just giving people time to come in so that they don't miss the good parts of the presentation, you know. But regardless of how many are watching, we're going to get started in the next 3 minutes. Okay. So, just a little recap. Yesterday, well, I keep saying yesterday, but I'll just say part one of this presentation was I was addressing some of the comments because I get comments all the time, and some of them are good teaching points. So a lot of times I'll highlight those particular comments, or if I didn't get a chance to respond, I will address those comments live. Okay, because I get hundreds of comments and there's no way that I don't even see all of the comments all the time. Sometimes years go by and I don't get a chance to respond to those comments until like sometimes 2, 3, and even 4 years later because I just haven't seen them. And then a lot of times I don't get the notifications of the comments. Okay. So if you ever leave a comment in my comment section and I don't get a chance to get back to you, it may be that I didn't see the comment. Okay. So don't feel any ways. Okay. Some comments show, other comments don't. Sometimes YouTube is funny. Sometimes they'll even erase people's comments, and I've had people accuse me of erasing their comment, and I'll be like, bro, I didn't even know you made a comment. It wasn't me, it was YouTube, you know. And I if I erase your comment, trust me, I will let you know. I erased your comment or I blocked you or whatever, and I try my best not to block people. I mean, you have to really be a serious troll in order for me to block you, because I like for people to be able to express their opinions and express themselves. You understand what I'm saying? So on that note, we're going to get started in 1 minute because I told y'all, and regardless of how many people are in here, we're going to start in 3 minutes. Okay. And it is that 3 minute mark right now. So without further ado, we will get started. Okay. And I'm going to end this particular live in a half hour, and I'm gonna stick to that. Where's my timekeeper? There's a chick who be in the comment section. she usually keeps the time. She's like, a video started at the lecture started at so and so. Guest started at such and such a time. I don't know if she's in there now, but since you like the timekeep, you can let me know when half an hour it has passed that I'll end the live. Okay. So anyway, we were addressing a particular individual. I'm not going to say the individual's name, but this particular individual and I were going back and forth in the comment section in one of the videos from years ago, the one that I did with the elder Two Feathers on the Cherokee language, and the topic of the Garifuna people of St. Vincent in the Caribbean came up. And so this particular individual is from the Afrocentric persuasion, okay, or the Pan-African persuasion. And the Pan-Africans feel that those of us who claim American origins are delusional, okay? They feel that we are trying to run away from African heritage, okay? And again, like I said before, no one is trying to run away from anything, okay? Like I said before, I don't have a problem with Africa, you know. I have an affinity for Africa, okay? I eat some of the foods, you know. I listen to a lot of the music, you know, coming from Africa. You know, I have been initiated into various African spiritual systems, okay? So I don't have a problem with Africa. Africa is not a big, you know, I don't have a hang up on that. You must be referring to, you know, other people from other offshoots of this, what they call the today the Aboriginal movement, okay, which is an offshoot of the original that came before that. But, you know, it's not, you know, I'm not a follower of Dane Calloway. You know, I'm not a Dane Calloway-ite, you know. I was long before, you know, Dane Calloway was probably still in diapers when I started doing this, okay? And probably had no knowledge of this information when I first started doing this on YouTube, okay? Myself and Fiber, okay? And I want to announce as well, for those who are in the chat right now, Native Voices TV, which is the sister station here, we will be going live after this show, about an hour after, hour and a half. It'll be actually at 6 o'clock, so it'll be later. It'll be like maybe an hour and a half after we finish here. We will be going live on Native Voices TV, okay, doing an interview with Lavelle Pierce, who is Tuscarora, okay, that's his nation, and we will be doing an interview with him after this live here, okay? So anyway, so where we left off yesterday, we were talking about information from this book. Okay, can y'all see this? I don't know if, I know there's a bit of a glare. Let me try to get it. So this book is called Black Caribs, Garifuna, St. Vincent's Exiled People and the Origin of the Garifuna, a historical compilation. Okay. And this particular book is a compilation of essays from various authors of information speaking on the Garifuna people. Okay. Oh, and before I continue, I promised, I was waiting for people to come out. I promised I would leave the link for those who wish to leave a donation. I'll leave the link in the chat. So I'm posting the link in the chat right now for those who, are nice enough to leave a donation of any size. It could be $1, $5, $10, whatever you feel or whatever you can afford. That will help us to continue to do this work. Okay. And so the brother was saying that the Garifuna people are just African. Okay. And they don't have Amerindian origins. Okay. So last night, I addressed this particular individual and I had to pull out the strap again. Y'all know it's really going down when I pull the belt out. That means I'm coming for somebody. Whenever I pull this belt out, that means that I'm whipping some hide. Okay. And I do I have to do the James Evans on people. How many of y'all know Good Times? Hey, Junior, come over here, boy. What? Boy, don't, let me get over here, Junior. I had to do the James Evans on the brother. I had to. I had to do the James Brown. Papa don't take no mess. Dabba doo, dabba doo, dabba doo, dabba doo, dabba. I had to lay the spank down. So I'm gonna continue to lay the spank down. Okay. And so where we left off yesterday, I'll recap a little bit. So where we left off, we were talking about how the brother said that Garifuna acknowledge that they are African, blah, 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 blah. And so he's saying that they accept the narrative that was given that, they are an African people who came here as slaves, blah, 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 mixed in with Indians, blah, 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 blah. And I'm saying that that particular narrative is partially true, perhaps. Okay. There's a lot of speculation going on. Okay, because a lot of the history, his story that exists about the Garifuna people, as well as a lot of the history, his story that we've been given over here on the mainland. Okay, it's a lot of speculation, revisionist history going on as well. So you can't take everything that these people say as gospel truth. Okay, and a lot of the history that the Garifuna have is history that was given to them by European historians. Now, the brother didn't want to accept that. The problem with you Pan-Africanists is that you Pan-Africanists believe a whole lot in revisionist history. You claim to be conscious and all of that stuff, but you're really not. you're really not that conscious. Okay. And the thing is that talk is just that, you say a lot, but you're saying nothing. Okay. Do we have any Pan-Africanists in the chat? You know, because I mean, we have to talk. I mean, you guys claim to be conscious, but yet you guys talk about, oh yeah, the black man is the original man, and the black man was first, and blah 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 blah. And you talk about everywhere else, but as soon as we talk about we being the original peoples of the Americas, that's when cognizant dissonance starts to set in. Okay? Where is your, original man, this, that, and the other then? Okay? So, that's why I said, I'm whipping y'all up today. Wait, hold on 1 second. Don't go anywhere. I am not going anywhere. Please don't leave. It's about to get good. I'm just going to get something for you. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. Don't go in. I'm right here. I'm right here. I just had to get something for you. All right. So, you Pan-Africanists, you guys, I want to hear from you. Okay. Because you guys talk a whole lot of stuff, but you can't back any of that stuff up. Okay. And that's why I say, I'm coming for you Pan-Africanists. I got cast iron right here. Okay. Got something for you. Okay. Got the zucchini. Okay. I'm gonna okay. Got something for you. I'm gonna whip y'all up and fry. Okay. I'm gonna fry y'all up today, right in the pan. Okay. I got something. Stir it all up in the pan. Okay. I got something for your pan. Okay. You Pan-Africanists. We're gonna fry y'all in the skillet. Okay. We're gonna serve you the filet gumbo. Okay. For your pan African mumbo jumbo. And again, this is no insult to those Africans born on the continent. I'm talking about the wannabes, the Africanots who are American born, okay, who want to try to discredit those of us who know our genealogy, okay, who only have an ancestry DNA result as proof of their lineage. That can't give you genealogy. Okay? That is not the same as genealogy. Okay? So, I'm serving you the filet combo. Okay? Now, for those of you who don't know what filet gumbo is, okay, for those guys, see this, maybe one person in who wasn't in earlier. So the filet gumbo, okay, so the gumbo dish that you find down in the South in Louisiana, you know, that particular dish is said to be a result of the African slaves who inspired that dish. However, that may be there may be some truth to that, okay? But what a lot of people have not been aware of is the fact that indigenous people here also had the gumbo, okay, or the thickening agent in the dish. See, because the gumbo or okra, okay, they said is have come from the east, okay, and that is like the main element of that dish, the gumbo, is that thickening agent. However, the filet gumbo, which comes from the Choctaw Indians, is also a thickening agent. So, what I'm going to do, just to give you some perspective before we move forward, I'm going to share with y'all a little bit of background about the gumbo. Okay, and I do talk about it in my book. I think I've actually talked about this before years ago, but I'm going to revisit it as well. So let me pull this up. I'm going to share the screen with y'all. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm just pulling up the document here. Here's one. Let me pull up this one. This is two. Don't go anywhere. I'm just pulling up the document so that I could share the screen with y'all so that y'all can see these documents here. Okay, that's two and three. Give me 1 second. Just pulling these up for you all. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, yeah. Don't drop off because I know y'all want me to share these documents with all because talk is cheap. So I don't like to just talk. I like to give y'all the actual documentation because anybody could sit up here and tell you anything, okay? But I like to give you the references, okay? So I'll pull up, let's see, let me share the screen. This first document here, give me 1 second. My computer is a little bit slow, so just bear with me. Like I say, that's why I was saying, the donations and stuff like that will help to upgrade some of this technology here so that when I bring this stuff to you all, it would be of a better quality. Okay, so the first one, let's see, which one should I bring up first? I think this one here. Okay, so this one says, let me know if y'all can see this document. You should be able to see this. Okay, so it says okra or gumbo from Africa So I'm going to read these a few different documents that I'm going to read. Okay. And it says okra is also called gumbo in this country, although the latter term is more often applied to soups or other dishes which contain okra. Both of these names are of African origin. Gumbo is believed to be a corruption of a Portuguese corruption, Kingombo, of the word quilobo, native name for the plant in the Congo and Angola area of Africa. Okra apparently originated in what the geobotanists call the Abyssinian center of origin of cultivated plants, an area that includes present day Ethiopia, the mountainous or plateau portion of Eritrea, and the eastern higher part of the Anglo Egyptian Sudan. Considering the little contact between that region and the rest of the world within historic times, it is not surprising that little is known about the early history and distribution of okra. Scroll down, let's scroll up a little bit. The routes by which okra has taken from Ethiopia to North Africa, the Eastern Mediterranean, Arabia, and India, and when are by no means certain. Although it has been commonly cultivated in Egypt for many hundreds of years, no sign of it has ever been found in any of the ancient monuments or relics of old Egypt. Since the Spanish Moors and the Egyptians of the 12th and 13th centuries used an Arab word for okra, it probably was taken into Egypt by Muslims from the east who conquered Egypt in the 7th century. It requires no stretch of the imagination to suppose that the plant earlier was taken from Ethiopia to Arabia across the narrow Red Sea or the narrower strait at its southern end. From Arabia, okra was spread over North Africa completely around the Mediterranean and eastward. The absence of any ancient Indian name for it suggests that it reached India after the beginning of the Christian era. Wild okra on the Upper Nile. Although the plant has been well known in India for a long time, it is not found wild there. Modern travelers have found okra growing truly wild, however, along the White Nile and somewhere in the Upper Nile country, as well as in Ethiopia. One of the earliest accounts of okra is by a Spanish Moor who visited Egypt in 1216. He described the plant in detail as cultivated by the Egyptians and stated that the pods, when young and tender, were eaten with meal. Southerners in our own country know how to cook it with cornmeal, slice the pods, dip the pieces in meal, and fry them. Because of the outstanding popularity of okra in the French cookery of Louisiana and its slow gain in popularity elsewhere in this country, it is safe to assume that it was introduced to this country by the French colonists of Louisiana in the early 1700s. It had been introduced to the New World, however, before 1658, reaching Brazil, possibly from Africa. It was known in Suriname in 1686. Strangely, records of okra during early American colonial times are lacking, although it must have been common among French colonists. It was being grown as far north as Philadelphia in 1748. Jefferson said it was known in Virginia before 1781, and from about 1800 onward, numerous garden writers had something to say about it. Had something to say about it. Several distinct varieties were known in 1806, as it is true with a number of our less generally popular vegetables. Many people fail to appreciate this one because they do not know how to use it. For the first and commonest mistake that gardeners make is to let the pods become too old and tough before harvesting them. Blah, 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 blah. We don't need to know all that. I just wanted to give you some background from this particular document. Now I'm going to go to the next document. Give me 1 second here. Yes, and we're almost to the end of this particular document anyway. Let me see. Let me stop sharing that one. And now I'll share the next one. Let's see here. Share screen, share screen. Okay, select that one and share. Okay. Now, here is another document about the filet gumbo or gumbo filet powder. Okay. And let me make this a little bigger because I'm really straining my eyes here. Okay. So this says, true gumbo filet powder is made entirely from ground leaves of the sassafras tree. Note that there are gumbo filet seasonings that may include sassafras along with other spices. Sassafras is considered by many to be the only truly North American spice. The use of sassafras began with Native Americans. In particular, the Choctaw people were known to grind the leaves and add them to their soups and stews. Use the leaves that was later on, and stews. Use of the leaves was later adopted by settlers from Europe and would eventually become associated mainly with the Acadians. In the early 17th century, sassafras was considered a wonder drug, and it was used as a remedy for a host of diseases. Its popularity was such that it would become the second most popular American export after tobacco. The popularity of sassafras as a herbal remedy lasted all the way up to the early 20th century. Its popularity would diminish in the 1960s when it was discovered that the safrole in the root bark of sassafras trees was carcinogenic. Gumbo filet flavor profile. The flavor profile of gumbo filet powder can be likened to a blend of thyme and savory. Other comparisons include the flavor of root beer and that of eucalyptus. Its flavor works particularly well in stews, sauces, and similar dishes that are braised for a long time. Health benefits of gumbo filet. Gumbo filet powder is not a good source of major nutrients, but the sassafras leaves used to make it between 2 and 3% essential oil, and that oil may contain a few beneficial compounds. Among those compounds are myrcene. This terpene is known to be anti-inflammatory as well as a mild analgesic and sedative. and the other one is um, linalool, is another terpene found in a variety of spices. Like myrcene, it fights inflammation while also being a mild sedative. Along with those compounds, gumbo filet powder will also provide you with a small amount of dietary fiber. Dietary fiber helps to promote the movement of food throughout your gastrointestinal system. The constituents of gumbo filet powder enable it to be beneficial if you want to treat or prevent certain health conditions. Those health conditions include, I'm not going to read everything, but kidney stones, high blood pressure, and inflammatory conditions. Okay, consequences of gumbo filet powder. While sassafras leaves have historically had a number of applications, such as for making root beer, gumbo filet powder is used primarily as a thickening agent and flavoring. The dishes for which it is most popular are all Cajun in origin and include gumbo and some etouffee recipes. I know I'm probably mispronounced that word. Um, and it says, note that it is best to stir it in at the end of cooking. Overcooking gumbo filet powder can give dishes a slimy texture. Okay, so I just give you some background on the gumbo filet that the indigenous people here utilized. Okay, and the thing is that, see, people are quick to just attribute these things and these customs that we have made part of our lives for years to African survivals. Okay. And the thing is that if all you're looking for is Africans, then that's all you're going to find. Or if all you're looking for is slaves, then that's all you're going to find. Okay. Because most people, they'll just read that first article about, the gumbo in Africa, and they'll stop there instead of digging deeper. Okay. And you see that, the indigenous people had a thickening agent for stews as well here. Okay. So a lot of times other peoples will come and mingle with our people here, indigenous people here, coming from other places, and whatever traditions that we had, you know, wind up having influences from outside and incorporated into things that we already did here. Okay, that doesn't mean that the traditional custom originated elsewhere. Okay, if you had elements that were incorporated, you just had some influences, but we had our own things going on here. you know so with that being said, I just wanted to give some perspective on the filet gumbo, so that when I say I'm serving the filet gumbo to a pan of African mumbo jumbo, you'll know what I mean by that. Okay. So now, and I hope the Pan Africans are here and they are listening. Okay. And again, so now I'm going to, we got some more people. Oh, okay. All right. yeah. We got some way back people. And I will definitely. Oh, man. This is very interesting. Wow. Wow. So, reason why I say this is interesting because there is someone in the chat who goes way back with the fierce truth seeker. And it's funny that this particular person is here now because I had a dream last night and I want you to hit me up in my email, love, and I'm going to tell you something about that dream because it's no coincidence. Okay, so my email is tipilonghouse at gmail.com because I was wondering what this dream meant, and now I got it, at least some perspective. I think it's connected. Okay. Okay. Please hit me up, and we'll chop it up. So now I'm gonna read from this book here, and so here, recapping, it says here every Galanago that I spoke to in Dangriga characterizes this model, the shipwreck theory, as a typical expression of Western science. In their view, there had been contact between the people from Africa and those from the Caribbean region since before Columbus. After all, both North and South equatorial ocean currents pass by the west current of Africa, and from there they head for the Caribbean. Okay, so here, this particular individual that I was going back and forth with, and I hope he is in the chat now, because if you didn't listen to the presentation last night, then you missed it. But you know, I had debunked what you said when you said that all of the Garifunas accept the narrative that they were African slaves that came over on a shipwreck. Okay, this says otherwise. Okay, now I'm gonna skip down to where we left off at because I already read this page. So I'm gonna pick for those who missed the first part. You'll get the part that I'm not reading right now because we already read that. So I'm going to pick up from where we left off. Okay. And it says here the notion that Africans arrived on St. Vincent via the crash of a slave ship is the most frequently encountered. It is generally agreed upon that this crash occurred in 1635. Okay, and he gives the different authors who talk about that. Although Consemius believes that it occurred in 1675, although Consemius believes that it occurred in 1675, he says the story involves two Spanish ships that crashed somewhere in the south of St. Vincent, and for a long time was thought to be the first contact between the island Caribs and Africans. In 1928, Consemius writes, in 1675, a ship with a load of Negro slaves destined for Barbados was wrecked in front of the small island of Bekia near St. Vincent. He continues that the Africans on this boat made their way to St. Vincent, where they formed a colony apart from the Indians with whom they intermarried. Over the past century, this story has been told in several different variations with slightly different dates for the wreckage, different nationalities of the ships, and different locations for the crash. Despite the loose evidence that the claims for the shipwreck are based upon, this had been the most important, if not singular, arrival theory for Africans on St. Vincent, and quite recently. Writing in 1985, Gulick cast serious doubt on the date and nationality of the ships. He says, if they were Spanish, they must have been transferring slaves from one Spanish colony to another, as the Portuguese transported the Spaniards' slaves across the Atlantic. Since St. Vincent was not near any Spanish trade route, this origin seems unlikely. As does any slave boat being in the immediate area before 1640, when sugar and plantations were introduced. Okay, let me read that again. Since St. Vincent was not near any Spanish trade route, this origin sounds unlikely, as does any slave boat being in the immediate area before 1640, when sugar and plantations were introduced. Okay, so how can you have slaves and stuff like that, that conflicts with this year, is what he's saying. Okay, the most recent ethnography of the Kalinago calls the whole incident into question. Hardly any details on the incident are available. I thought you said, brother, that the information was solid and tight, and that there's no speculation. I thought you said that, bro. All right, so again, I told you, when the fierce truth seeker pulls the strap out, okay, some hides are getting spanked. Okay. All right. Hides are getting spanked. Okay. Let's read on. He says the most recent ethnography of the Garinagu calls the whole incident into question. Hardly any details on the incident are available. Things like how the slaves got off the ship are not clear. Where did they come from, and how many were on board? There are too many questions to assume that the accident with the two ships is the primary cause of African influences on St. Vincent. It is unclear exactly how, when, or from where Africans arrived on St. Vincent. The fact remains that they did arrive, and this raises the question of the nature of the relationship between the Africans and the Amerindians. Much like the record of Arawak Carib relations, there is little evidence and conflicting ideas. All scholars agree that there was intermarriage, hence the Kalinagu, but there is no consensus as to the nature of this marriage, and each scholar seems to have their own version. Kearns writes, the nature of the original meeting is disputed. According to certain records, the Caribs welcomed the Africans. According to other sources, the Indians immediately enslaved them. Because nothing close to a consensus has been reached, and barring the unearthing of new archaeological evidence, it is unlikely that any such consensus will be reached. Only the most obvious conclusions can be made. Africans and Amerindians did intermarry on St. Vincent, and either due to this intermarriage or war or disease or some other factor, both populations of pureblood Africans and pureblood Amerindians shrank to the point of near, if not total, extinction. Okay, I don't agree with that, but this is just people's speculation because of the fact that their dark skin is just assumed that they are African, whether or not, they came during the slave era or came during pre-Columbian contact. That is the assumption. Okay, but it's just that, it's an assumption. Okay, so I'm just putting that particular line into perspective here. Okay, so it says Garinagu history after the arrival of Europeans is much more clear, although heavily biased. Don't take my word for it. I'll show you right here. Heavily biased. See, the fierce truth seeker be all up in these books. See all the highlights. Okay. All right. So in my annotations and all that. Okay. Heavily biased, as the reporting comes from the Europeans themselves. Oh! 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 Hold on. Papa don't take no mess. JJ, come over here, boy. Junior. Do the Mr. Evans on you. Hope you're listening, brother. I don't see you in the chat. You had a lot to say in the comment section, but you're running now. Frying you up. Zucchini. Where's that filet? Where's that filet? Pan. Okay, you pan Africans, wannabes. You want to be African. You're an Africanaut. You're an Africant. Now, again, like I said yesterday, I'm just being silly. I'm not saying that there are not African influences here. Okay? I'm talking about origins. Okay? Our origins, where we originate. not those who may have come and intermarried with our people. That's different. Who came and did trade with our people, because I told you before, indigenous culture is inclusive, not exclusive. Okay. And if Firebird is in the chat, I know you will agree that statement with that statement that I just made. It's inclusive. Indigenous people have been intermarrying with different peoples, okay, for a while. Okay. So says here, wait, how long have we been? Let me look. Let me just get a time check, because I did say, oh yeah, we about to go on soon. So yeah, and we're over an hour. So that's really pretty much the gist of what I wanted to get into. I just wanted to lay the smack down, on some of these Pan Africans, be through the rock on you, through the rock and lay the smack down, because I hear it all the time, but you guys don't have any proof. You guys always asking us about evidence and stuff like that. What evidence do you have that you're African? Okay, that's the big question. What proof do you have that you're African? You actually have none. Just getting a DNA test done by itself is not proof. Okay, and again, for donations, whoever feels inspired to leave a donation, I'm gonna leave the link in the chat for those who were not here before. Okay, and yeah, I don't like to just talk. Like I said before, yet last night, I said, if I say it, know that I'm holding that card, like how you playing cards, and you have that guy there who's fronting like he's losing, and he has that card, and that we're in the game. If I say it, I got that card, bro. You said you wanted to put up money, you would have lost that money. And I guess that's why he is not in the chat right now, because he didn't want to lose that money. He didn't want to lose that money. But I come with the strap. When the fierce truth seeker pulls the strap out. Okay. Some serious business. What's about to go down. Some hides, about to get whooped. Okay. But anyway, we will be, Firebird and I will be, after this show in about 30 minutes, we will be on the sister station, Native Voices, Turtle Island. Okay. And we will have our guest, Lavelle Pierce, Tuscarora. He is Tuscarora. That's his nation. Good brother, real good brother. I've been watching that brother for years. He's a martial artist, a serious martial artist, a very humble brother, he has a good spirit, and we're going to have him on the show. Okay. And so I urge you to check out Native Voices, Turtle Island at 6:00. Okay. And, it should be a pretty good interview. All right. So let's see. Let's acknowledge who all we have in the chat first before we go. can't. What's wrong with me? Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, so we have Tamakius, Tahatan, Araho. Pardon me, it's my eyes. You know, like I said, I refuse to wear glasses. Arahatahak. All right. Yeah, he's joined in. Yeah. Greetings, brother. All right. Yeah. And he leaves another comment. He said, "Yeah, talking about the skillet Africans. You know, again, I'm not dissing anyone from the continent, born the continent. I'm talking about these American pretend Africans. Okay." He says, "Yeah, we was the first everywhere, but not here." Yeah, exactly. You know, they always say, you know, oh yeah, we was the first people of India. You know, we was the first people of Russia. Oh, we was the first people in Spain. But as soon as you come to America, no, I don't know about that. You know, no, no, no. You know, hypocrisy, and you're not as conscious as you pretend to be. Okay, you're really not. Okay, and we have, yeah, fast culture. Yeah. Where's Firebird? Firebird is preparing for the show that's coming up. That's where she is. Okay. And we have the Cobra Assassin. Islam, peace and love. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cobra Assassin. Yeah. And let's see, who else did I not get? We have another person. Looks like they just joined in, and that is UTLS, United Through Life's Struggles. Peace, he says, peace to the family. Hey, peace to you, fam. I appreciate you joining in. Okay. And we have a lot of good things coming up. Pretty soon, Firebird and I, as per our requests from a lot of people in the chat and in the comment section who's been asking for help with finding your ancestors, your indigenous ancestors, and things of that nature. Firebird and I will be doing a live pretty soon, maybe, I won't say tomorrow, to this Mother's Day weekend. I'll say maybe next week. Okay. And we'll be pulling out the roles, the various roles, and things of that nature, and you know, give some tips and suggestions. And we'll also be having soon Tasha She. I know she does that as well. Okay. And I know other people who do genealogy and things of that nature. So do stay tuned. We have some real good shows coming up. I'm going to have a guest on pretty soon who is an extremely talented artist by the name of Paul Dio. He'll be on here soon. Okay, a lot of different people. Eagle Eye, I'm gonna have Eagle Eye on soon. A lot of different people. Okay, so do stay tuned, and more, a lot more, whole lot of people we have coming up. Okay, and so I'm gonna get ready for this show that we're getting ready to do. This next live on, and I'm gonna drop that link. I'm gonna drop the name for those who may not be familiar with our sister station. I'm gonna drop that here in the chat. Native Voices Turtle Island TV. It's the name of the show, the YouTube channel, Native Voices Turtle Island TV. Okay, and we'll be on at 6 o'clock. Okay, So it'll be half an hour after this show. All right. So on that note, I guess we'll sign off. And until the next time, do da da, go ha, eh.